we've had enough. We're not gonna watch what is left get taken by a dollar bill. And that's what we're experiencing. This is very much a profit over people situation. And the money's winning.
This episode of the FloBros Show is brought to you by
BigFloridaEnergy.com.
Hey, it's the FloBros Show. I'm JD. This is Blake. Today we were talking with Lindsey Leigh from Farmacy, and we're also going to talk about this David and Goliath situation she is up against, and we're going to dive deep into that and figure out the truth behind it.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So let's talk about the company you started, Farmacy. I think that's clever words. Whoever came up with that, I like the way you kind of combined it together. I'm like, that's good. That's clever. Yeah. I love it.
As you can see, we have very feral children.
Yep. I was like that when I was a kid. I didn't wear shoes until I had to go to school.
Bare feet, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. That's right.
I still don't like wearing shoes.
Yeah, same. Feral part we knew right out of the gate. And then I felt like apothecary was completely overused. Yeah. So I was like, what can I do that like FF rhymes? I'm like feral farm. And then I'm like, hold up. Like, cause a lot of my stuff, like previous advocacy work was like medical freedom stuff. And like, so we have a lot of shirts that say like more farms, less pharma. So I was like, Farmacy, and then it just rang and we went with it, and we did a little poll on Facebook and everyone was like, yeah. Nice.
And then your mascot is what? Is it emu?
Is our emu.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That is your emu. Okay.
Yes. So we have two emus. One is a menace and one is very sweet. And our menace really went viral multiple times from escaping, and we couldn't find out how she was escaping for the longest time. So when we polled Facebook originally about feral Farmacy, everyone was like, well, Cupcake has to be your mascot. And we were like, okay. Because I didn't have I was going to use like a flower or something. But the emu head is like, it's attention grabbing. However, we have had some people that are like marketing people that are like, oh, it leads you to believe you have an emu farm. I'm like, no, it doesn't. No. If you follow me, you'll know why.
So all the products that you have, let's talk about all those products. Handmade at your house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah. So I hand make. He's like, let me sniff it really quick first.
So good.
Ooh, that's nice.
So it started with that, what you have in your hand, soap, really. Eddie got diagnosed with cancer, and we started getting really intentional. And soap, when I started really digging into your skin, ironically, I actually went to school, I went to cosmetology school forever ago. And then I started digging into ingredients and just saying we need to change everything. And everything at the time, because this was almost 10 years ago, clean ingredients weren't as, available, I think, as they are now. There's a lot of people doing this now, but back then there was not. And I'm like, okay, well, let's start with soap. And then it was what does my family need? And so things evolved over time. We have teenagers. That's how our turmeric face wash came about. They started getting acne. They were like, we're not down with this. I'm like, okay, let's do this. So all of our products are handmade in our home, in our kitchen. We have expanded our product line slowly, but steadily enough for me to be able to pace, because it's just me. And yeah, it's fun.
So you make all this yourself?
Mm-hmm.
In your kitchen?
In my kitchen, yeah. Wow. So we hand render all of our tallow. We get our SUED in Arcadia. We use Florida Cracker Cattle SUED. It goes through a 6-day rendering process. And then I infuse it to make whatever I'm making. Like that's what you're holding is a body scrub. So then I'll take it through an infusion process and then turn it into some type of medicinal skincare. A lot of the stuff that's additives is stuff we grow. So like all the turmeric products, we grow our own turmeric on our farm.
Oh, wow. That's freaking awesome that you're able to pull that off.
Yeah. So all of our aloe is all sourced on our farm. We just try to use as much as we possibly can that we can grow an abundance of and then use it.
That's impressive. So do you see this? I mean, clearly you have a vision with this, with the amount of products you have. Do you see it to where it's getting to the point where you have to outsource stuff because you can't?
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. I mean, it's growing.
Yeah.
You're doing markets and advertising, and you obviously got a really good thing going. The reason why you started this was for your husband, and to kind of be more natural. It's obviously going to grow because this is something that takes off now this day in culture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
where can people buy this right now?
Yeah.
On our website. So we have a website, farmacy.com, and then we, like JD just said, we pop up locally as much as we can. Like right now it's, market time and festival time. So things start to really amp up in October and then carry us through.
So I think that we talked about carrying some of your products on our website also. Yeah. So that'll be good.
That'd be cool.
Support local, support Florida. Yeah, that's gonna be fantastic. So I'm letting Shayna deal with what she wants to carry.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's her department.
So Shayna wants to do like some exclusive soaps that only you guys carry. Ooh. I like doing business branded stuff, because then it allows me to, you guys are supporting me, but I also get to support you and going well, you can only get that on the FloBros show.
That's cool.
That's cool. I like that too.
So it's a good exchange. And then you guys being able to customize it and make it however you want. I didn't tell you, but I did find somebody that's willing to make a soap stamp that is the Florida flag.
Really good.
So awesome. Instead of having this, it would be stamped with the flag.
Cool. Very cool.
Anyways,
that's
obviously
the
flag is kind of our thing.
Yeah.
So I make those. So he's clearly that's my side hustle there.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah. So any way we can incorporate it into the packaging, so it's exclusive, and then we're just kind of helping each other out. Like you said, I think it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So Feral Farmacy, you also have Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. So, and I know you're pretty big. You're pretty big locally in governmental issues and local governmental issues. We can we'll just kind of talk about some of those things.
Yeah.
So recently you had some jackwagon come after you with the lawsuit. You said halt. Let's hold up before we keep moving forward. Can we talk about what happened here with just give us a rundown.
Sure. So I think it really started with the rezone request. We caught wind that there was going to be a neighborhood meeting, which again is the process, if you will. So we got wind that there was going to be a neighborhood meeting for a rezone request, which we attended. It was poorly attended by the community because they're poorly advertised. They don't actually want the community there.
No, they hold it at weird hours and make it hard for people to attend. Yeah.
Right. So, so we attended that, and I think that was a really big eye opener for us to understand their project more. Although it is pretty much in our front yard, it's not something we necessarily paid attention to because they had an equestrian farm that made sense to us. Contrary to whether we like it or don't like it, or our neighbors like it or don't like it, that's irrelevant. It's ag, we live in ag land, who cares? And in their defense, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful facility. So that wasn't really bothersome to us. But once we started to really dive deeper into the project, there was just a lot of missing parts and pieces. And for me, it turned into a game of connect the dots. Wait, what's happening here? What's happening here? And it opened a huge can of worms. And in that, I started to get vocal because I thought it was important for the community to have some level of transparency. And if that wasn't coming directly from them, that maybe it was coming from somebody within the community that could say, hey, do you guys know that this is what's going on? And so that's what we did. We hosted a local community meeting at Crane Park, and we were shocked at the amount of people that came, that were like, what's going on? And people need a leader. Like, everyone's like somehow waiting for like them to be saved. Like, oh, come save us. And so it was like, oh, she opened, like, she's going to speak about this. We're going to show up. And so it was, and I made it very clear, like, we're not here to complain. We're here to give you facts and strategy. And this is what this looks like. So we had the community meeting. The next step is they're going to go before the Board of County Commissioners. And when that happens, if you don't like the idea of a rezone, you need to speak up. And I think a lot of people don't know that process, right? They don't know that their voice can actually be heard. They think that they can complain on Facebook, and somehow there's going to be some level of change that happens over doing that. And so that's where I stepped in to like really be the community leader, if you will, of going, hey, your voice can and will be heard, right? Like, they can't ignore hundreds of us in the room going, no, we're not doing that. And that's really how it started. And me being vocal turned into, I'm rallying the community to incite violence and arson and murder and a bunch of other accusations that I've never made and that I've never encouraged amongst our community. But what I have done is gone, we need to hold the line. We have an opportunity to hold the line right now, and that's going to take power in numbers.
Can we be a little, are we allowed to be specific on what the project is that we're trying to hold the line against?
Yeah. So Terra Nova Estates is the company that put forth the rezone. I will say they have since retracted the rezone. So post our community meeting, we actually, there was a suggestion at the community meeting that we make yard signs. And I'll be really honest, when I heard it, I was like, that's dumb. And then I drove over by Jessica's Organic Market and I saw all these signs and it captured my attention. Like, I wanted to know what was going on in this community. Like, there was hundreds of signs all over the roadways. And I was like, what is this? And then I thought about our situation. I'm like, someone suggested this. Like, we need to run with this. And so at that point, we were like, you know what? We need to make it a community effort. Let's raise $500. Let's order a bunch of signs, put them out. And hopefully we're peacefully protesting, right? Like, we're not all standing outside picketing, but we can use our property to put signs out and just basically say, like, we're not doing that. And that's exactly what we did. And 2 weeks after our signs were visible, the rezone request was retracted by Terra Nova. And at that point, the owner made a public statement that we were misinforming the community, and that we were spreading lies and rumors. And then that's when all the murder, arson, and other type of violence came about.
So for people that are watching this that don't know or have seen any of your videos talking about what's going on,
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, on one hand, so you make videos, on a lot of videos you make have gone viral or get tens of thousands of views. And so a lot of people are like, oh, that's so good. But once you have a voice and you're seen, then you have influence,
Right.
especially on social media. So then people are like, because her videos got shared so much, it makes this more of like a scene to where now the person and the situation that she's talking about that's happening, there's more eyes on them being like more in whatever. They're getting, more people are seeing what they're doing and they're like, how do we shut this down? And so like, oh, well, this is the voice. Like, we need to do something about this. And so I know one of your videos that you posted recently went through the exact like timeline of like, we moved here because of this person wants to do this, and it's going to change the way of life for everyone around here.
Correct.
And we don't want that. So I want, like, if you could start at maybe the why before this happened, like where your house is and where this was going to be, maybe just kind of like start from the beginning again of like why you got involved, or like why it's so personal, I guess, to you.
No, that's good. You know, it is personal. Right now, I think we're getting a lot of backlash because people are like, we all live out here, mind your P's and Q's, focus on your land. Who gives a crap what anybody else is doing? And I agree with that until what you're doing affects me. Right. And when that starts to happen, now I have a problem. And so very much so, that is what we're experiencing. We moved out here with extreme intentionality. We had a choice. We didn't want to be in Sarasota anymore, but we also didn't want to leave this area because we've built businesses here and we have, you know, a reputation here, and this is where we grew up. Like we didn't have intentions of necessarily leaving. So it was like, do we move north? Do we move a little south? My husband's from Northport. It's like, do we move? I'm like, I don't want to live in Northport. And then we found our property and we did an absurd amount of praying, and it was so strange that like a random Sunday, I was sitting there just scrolling and I saw our property, and the very moment that I saw it, I was like, that's my forever house. I don't give a crap what we have to do. That's it. Wow. And our realtor at the time was like, we had a list of non-negotiables, and this property met none of those. And so she was like, what? Like your non-negotiables. I'm like, throw the non-negotiables out the window. We're done with that. Like, this is it. This is where we want to live. And so we have 4 children. We homeschool our children. We loved the opportunity to not only be able to grow, but to also like be on a well system, knowing like, you know, Eddie was a plumber for years. We understand the municipalities and toxic water and all of that kind of stuff. So that was an intentional process as well. And then going, wow, our property backs to the north end of the Mayaca State Park. No one's developing there. Like, awesome. And so for us, it was a yes right out of the gate. It was an immediate yes. Like, we envisioned a generational property. Neither one of us come from anything. We don't have parents that are going to be passing anything down to us, if you will. And I was like, this is our opportunity to be able to have land and pass that down to our children and really make something beautiful. I mean, our property was like this wide open landscape, if you will, of like, we can create whatever we want. All those non-negotiables, we can build them if we need them. Like, we're good. And that went on for, you know, several years while we were living out here. And in that process, you know, we've built community. We've started farm swaps and done as much stuff as we can to bring the community together. We spent a lot of time on the river. The river is a place that's extremely magical for us. Our children are, like I said, very feral. They want to be in the woods. They want to be barefoot. They want to be on the water. And it's our way of life. And when there was any idea of that being threatened, it became really personal, really fast. To go, wait, what are we doing and why are we doing that? Like, first of all, why are we pinching our largest natural resource with 2 golf courses? Yeah. Whose idea was that, and why was that ever a good idea? Why isn't anybody from a conservation or an environmental standpoint going, what's happening? Why are we doing that? So I think that's really like where for us it started to feel threatening. And we Eddie and I had multiple conversations, and the dialogue was very much like, do we fight or do we leave? Because those are really our only 2 choices. And as we watch Lakewood Ranch continue to creep out here, it's like, you know what? I have 8 eyes watching me. I have my children that I want to know if we leave our property, if we end up having to leave our property, I want them to know that I did everything physically possible to fight the development. And that's it. Like I want my kids to know that they can use their voice and not be scared to catch a lawsuit over it. Like we have a First Amendment right. It is a First Amendment right. Do I think slander is okay? No, I don't. But I also don't believe that I've said anything that's slandering somebody. Is it defamatory? Sure. But if you don't like the story that I tell about you, maybe you should change your part of the story.
You are saying the truth about what's going on. You get sued. Now, in that lawsuit, they're saying they're lying about what you said, right? They're saying you lied. Right. But also in the same vein, they're lying about you.
Right.
So they're actually suing you
for doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering
Hypocritical.
that.
Hypocritical.
Right. It's very hypocritical.
100%.
And it's crazy.
That's what's the most crazy to me, is because anything that I've said, if I don't have some sort of proof, if you will, of like why I said it, then I've always framed it as a question. Because perhaps somebody in the community has the answer to those questions. Right. And in fact, there are plenty of people that have the answers to those questions. I can use the artifacts as a perfect example. There was speculation, right? We live on grounds that were once, populated by Native Americans. That's not a mystery or a surprise. We all know that. When you look at the hammocks of oaks along the Myakka River, specifically in Manatee County, man, if those trees could tell stories, right? Like, I just think to myself, like, I just want to sit underneath you and catch some shade and maybe like, I don't know, feel all this for a second. Like, what happened here? And so anybody that lives along the river has said, it's arrowheads wash up on the river, artifacts wash up on the river, all sorts of stuff washes up on the river. But then it went from not just like vague speculation to literally people showing us pictures and videos of this property being excavated and the amount of unearthing that was happening in that process. And so for us, it was a question. Like, was I there during excavation? No, I wasn't. Am I trespassing on property? No, I'm not. And I have zero intention of doing that. But hey, who in the community has? Like, where are you at? Like, and so we started asking questions, like, and started talking to people that were working on the project and asking them, like, what are they instructing you to do? Are they reporting latitude and longitude? Are they, and asking questions. And I think it's important for us as citizens to be the boots on the ground in so many capacities where things are going on, where there's a major lack of oversight. Right. There's nobody out there babysitting. There's nobody out there policing the river, if you will. Right. No one's doing that. And so if no one's doing that, it's like, who can we ask that might know that information? And so there has been a lot of people that have come forth once we've gotten vocal. And what we find is that every single one of them is like, we were loud in the beginning and nobody listened to us. So we gave up. And I'm tired of hearing that. And so what we're experiencing now is tons of people in the community coming forward and going like, please just don't stop. Like, don't let this derail you, because you're onto something. You're obviously striking a nerve. You're obviously upsetting people. Keep asking the questions. You're on the right path, but don't give up, because all these other people have spoke up. And, maybe it was the previous board and it was everybody wants to blame everybody for something. But I think at the end of the day, yes, it's the answer to your question. Like, I've never said anything. And honestly and truly, I've never done anything with ill intent. Right. I don't have ill intent. I don't wish this gentleman or his project or his family, I don't wish them any harm. I don't hope their project fails. Right. I just am more like hey, let's read the room.
Mm-hmm. Let's something here. Everyone around it is saying we don't want it.
Yeah. Right. And the argument can be, well, it's my property. Sure. Do you want someone telling you what to do on your property? No. Right. Heck no. I don't want somebody to do on my property. But guess what? If I do something on my property and it's affecting my neighbors, right, I fully intend my neighbors to keep me accountable and go, hey, Lindsey, right, you gotta, let's use the 4th of July, for example, right? Like, I have all this livestock. You have no livestock. You're blowing up M80s and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, hey, by the way, can you relax a little bit? Like, we all do Karen neighbor behavior, right? To a certain extent, stop doing that. We all get irritated that we have neighbors that don't bring their trash can in. We're said neighbors, but whatever. So I think that's the thing, is that when it directly affects us, and it does directly affect us and impact us, we're not just talking about it affecting the Myakka River. I think the larger issue, and the issue that a lot of people have, is the density issue of, you have a golf course. Right. What happens on that golf course? We don't need to be rocket scientists. What's happening on the golf course? What's happening on the golf course is we're heavily fertilizing, we're spraying, we're irrigating, we're doing all of these things. Where's that going? Right. Again, it's a question. Mm-hmm. Now, opposing party claims that 100% of that water is being retained. That's my response is JD's face.
Sure, that's impossible.
That's even impossible. How you couldn't contain it all. What are you gonna do when a hurricane runs through here and the whole damn golf course is flooded and 2 years worth of fertilizer is now floating down the Myakka River, and there's a right. It's just it's the lack of knowledge on the opposing party's part to think that they can say that and get away with it. And
an insult to all of our intelligence. Exactly. Right. Are you building these, like I was saying to Eddie, are you building these large municipality tanks? Where's the water going? Yeah. And then once you're retaining 100% of it, what are you doing with it? Just so many questions like that. And then what happened is that in all of this, as the can of worms just started to holy smokes, we learned that the sand, which, their bunkers are designed to be very aesthetically eighth wonder of the world-ish. You're only going to golf this here. Mm-hmm. Okay, I love that for you, except for what are you using to do that? Mm-hmm. Because that's not natural. Right. And they're using a material called lock sand, which does not have a ton of research behind it. But essentially what it is it's plastic particles, materials within the sand in order for them to mold the sand so that the sand...
So they can mold it so it stays, yeah.
Right.
So they cement the bunker, then they lay the sand in so that the sand just stays put. Well, like you just said, we all have lived through how many hurricanes, right? During Hurricane Ian, we sat in the eye wall for 8.5 hours and got absolutely annihilated out here. Like my house alone had $180,000 worth of damage done to it. So I know what that property looked like after Hurricane Ian, and it was not pretty. So for us, it was like, where is that going? And then they're using a special sod. Okay, let's look into the sod. Well, we look into the sod reseeds itself. Oh, okay. What does that do to the neighboring farms? There's cattle ranchers all around that property. So, we get hurricanes, we get flooding, the sod's reseeding in all of the neighbors' land. Is that safe for those cows and horses and all these animals to be eating? Probably not. Okay, now we have the fertilizer in our aquifer. That's pretty inevitable. That's going to happen. Furthermore, let's just do some basic Googling and research. What happens if you live within a 5-mile radius of a golf course? Well, now we have increased health risk. So now we have cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, all of these things. And here's the thing. All of the surrounding we have hydroponic farms. We have all sorts of cattle farms. We have people growing produce, organic farms, all this stuff all around within that 5-mile radius. And we're all at risk. It's extremely inappropriate where it's placed based on what's happening and us not having infrastructure to support something like that.
So once you allow this golf course, how many acres is it going to be? How many acres is this golf course going to be?
They own 8,000 acres or something like that. The golf course itself is 3,000 acres.
Okay, so what are they going to do with the remaining acreage?
So they have the equestrian center, which is
So
already
putting houses
built.
is what I'm asking.
And then next to the equestrian center is their residential community.
The high-end, multi-million-dollar homes. So it's like a Ritz-Carlton, Lakewood Ranch Country Club out here with a very fancy golf course, essentially, right? They're just taking what they did on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard between 70 and University, making the golf course better and moving it out east 15 miles.
Yeah.
For more of a tourist attraction.
But
For people that aren't from here, aren't going to be able to even
it's invite
afford
only.
it.
It's invite only.
And they're not going to be able to.
It's invite only.
The golf course
Yeah.
is invite only.
Yeah.
And there's only 400 people they're allowing there or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a minimal amount of people. So I would
Right.
imagine if you live there, you could probably pay to golf there. But if you don't live there, you have to be invited in, and it's probably for the ultra wealthy, clearly. So when you bring something like that into a ag area, that opens up the door for everybody and their brother to start putting more houses, and everything just starts creeping out east. For you got a Publix down the road. You got another neighborhood that's let's push it just a little bit farther.
Yeah.
Before you know it, they'll be in fucking Arcadia.
Yeah.
Because the land's going to skyrocket. And if the farmers are at a point where they want to retire, oh, snap. It's
just sell it.
I can make tens of millions instead of a couple million.
Right.
Okay. And I don't like this happening. So it's I might as well move. Yeah. It's like a lose. The weird thing that we don't understand, I think we're going to try to sit down with a developer one day or somebody, because in our minds, we don't understand the why. We know it's money, of course. Everyone, they see an opportunity, they're going to take it, they're going to make money. But then but then they say all this stuff about how it's going to be good for it's crazy, but they'll say it's good for the environment, or it's going to be good for the county, it's going to be good for land. Yeah. It's they're saying it's going to be good, but every local knows it's not.
Right.
And nobody wants it.
Right.
And so it's just we're at this weird place where it's what's in their head that's making them go oh yeah, we want to take that property and do this, when nobody in the county wants this. I don't know. It's just, I don't understand. We don't.
He could have took that 8,000 acres and took 3/4 of it and made it into a nature preserve or something, and did something useful with it instead of more concrete, more golf course.
We were just told in his most recent press release that he's planning on creating an conservation easement on part of it.
Is he doing that now because everybody's on his ass to offset the he's now trying to be morally accountable by adding that in there? Or do you think that was always part of the plan? It's like a scramble at the last minute. Everybody's on my ass. I guess I might as well put some resource center. I might as well put some area out there. So it's, hey, I'm doing something good for the environment. Well, it doesn't offset the tax that, the carbon tax of what you're creating with the golf course and the houses.
Sure.
But in his head, I'm sure he thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
Or his financial advisors or his investors are like, yeah, you're fine. Go ahead and do it. We just go ahead. Shoot first, ask questions later. That's the mentality, and that's the problem.
Sure. And honestly, that is how he approached any type of open dialogue with us. He served me with a cease and desist right out of the get-go. But then after he served me with a cease and desist, he texted me and asked me if I would meet up with him to have a conversation with him. And I was like, wait, what? Do you always do you always try to catch bees with vinegar, or what? How does that work for you?
You're gonna make me mad.
Perhaps if you text messaged me initially and said hey, Lindsay, I don't know what's up with these videos, but I feel like we need to sit down and have a conversation. Yeah. I probably would have been open to it, but you served me with legal paperwork, and then you were like, let's have a no, we're not doing that.
Well, when you imagine the conversation, there's obviously a tactic to what he did. They say, I'm going to serve you papers, and then I want to have a talk with you afterwards. And it's to strong arm you.
Right.
You do this, or else this is going to go to the next step. Yeah. Because the Floridian thing would have been to do, hey, let's have some dialogue, and then if we can't resolve it, then we may have to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm fuming inside that this is actually a problem, but it's happening everywhere on the state, everywhere. It's not just everywhere.
So that's the thing is that what we find is that this isn't just happening in my backyard or your backyard or whomever's backyard. This is a state problem. This is something that is happening in our state, across the entire state. And we have all of these backdoor deals that are being done because we have a government that's taking financial handouts from people that have far more money than us. It blows my mind when people are like, oh, well, then you buy up all the land. Okay, with what? With what? What am I actually buying the land with? That's not realistic. But again, like I said, it's okay, well, we have things like an FDAB line. Why is that there? That's there because we're not supposed to break the rules beyond that line. And that has continued to creep, right? The line keeps getting moved. It's like the frog in boiling water, right? You put the frog in, when the water is not boiling, you slowly increase the temperature, the frog doesn't know what's going on, and the frog eventually dies instead of jumping, because they don't know what's happening. And I feel very much like that is what is actively happening in our state. It's we're slowly being stripped from anything that we know of as Florida, old Florida, and simultaneously being told to shut up.
Yeah. Right.
Through lawsuits.
Right. Shut up and sit down. This is what we're doing now. And I'm I don't know, man. This is giving me Christopher Columbus vibes.
Yes.
We just come in, take the land, pillage the frickin' joint, and then we go and this is our shit now. What? But nobody, it's the same. I try to explain to people all the time. I'm you realize we have a constitution. The Constitution is designed for we the people. It's for us. So that we have rights to stand up against things that we don't deem should be happening, right? The Second Amendment right is the right for me to be able to bear arms and protect myself. That doesn't, there's no language in there that says protect myself from whom. If the government is at my door, I still have the right to protect myself. So I think that's the part for me that gets crazy is I'm like, I don't understand if everybody's so against it, and what you guys are doing, I think, is opening that dialogue for people, right? Like, stop developing Florida. What does that mean? And opening that dialogue to have people be able to say, like, we've had enough. Enough is enough.
Right.
And we're not gonna watch what is left get taken by a dollar bill. And that's what we're experiencing. This is very much a people over profit or a profit over people situation. And the money's winning, the money at the end of the day is winning. And then I hear people say, oh, it's happening all over the United States. It's not just Florida. But I feel like it's rampant in Florida.
Well, yeah, because, Florida's been sold as this snowbird free state.
Florida's a free state, yeah.
Free state, and it's always been like the snowbird state,
Right.
So, and we're close to the coast, but we've got a very limited amount of resources between coast to coast, and it's like an Easter island. We're using up all our resources, and before you, like you said, there's not going to be anything left. It's a Christopher Columbus kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like Floridians are kind of, I don't mean this in a comparison way that is derogatory, but Floridians are kind of like what the Native Americans were when Columbus came, like you said before, and before you know it, they're getting pushed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The white man brings plague and disease and control and order and weapons. What's the weapon now? Money.
Yeah.
The weapon then was horses and guns. Now it's the same tactic. It's just a different weapon.
Yeah.
The weapon now is lawsuits and money. And bulldozers.
Bulldozers. Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
But it's the same. It's the same shit happening hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
And it's done very crafty behind closed doors for the most part. Before we even know what's happening,
It's
we're
already
just like, wait, that land got bought? Like, yeah, it was bought like 15 years ago. It's like, crap.
That's how this
It's too
land was
late.
bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That
like,
land would never hit the MLS.
No.
Right.
Not once.
No.
It was a private transaction. So how am I going to buy the land? Like what?
Right.
What am I buying? No, stop.
Yeah.
We're
We
not
get
doing
so many people in our comments saying, instead of, doing X, Y, and Z, why don't you raise funds to buy land up in Florida? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds
if people
great.
want to give us money to buy land, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But
Let's
that
go.
sounds great
I'm
on
so
paper.
down.
But if he gives
down.
$50,000, you give 10, you give 100, and I give $10.
Yeah. Are we all splitting
Are
it?
we all splitting it?
Exactly.
How are you going to chop that up into a
Exactly.
pie where everybody gets the fair amount that they donated to, and then he's going to want it named after him because he gave the most amount of money,
right.
and it's this like, well, then you only gave $10.
Yeah.
You're just asking for logistical problems by doing these
Right.
suggestions that people have. I mean, I know people suggest that they have good intent, but it's just not. It's not realistic to buy, like you were saying, or like buy up the land. It's not realistic. It's getting bought up by people who don't have, I feel like, a moral compass.
Correct.
They don't give a fuck about what was here or what's going to happen.
Like, I just had this conversation last night with my 17-year-old because she's really trying to wrap her head around like because she's like, this isn't the Florida I grew up in. Like, and she's 17.
That's great.
So she, like I've been, chatting with her a lot, and I'm like, humans were never designed to be in this position where we know all of these things that are happening all over the place. Like, we're supposed to be good stewards of the land, of our land. Like, right? Like, if I'm a good steward of the land and on my property, and you're a good steward, and so on and so forth, and everybody's just worrying about what they have going on, then they don't have to really worry about what other people are doing. But that obviously stopped a very long time ago. But the concept of it, and it's like, I mean, it didn't stop a very long time ago in reality, in relative to how long we've been here. But I'm like, I don't understand, I think as constituents, it is extremely important for us to be aware of what's going on so that we can stop people that don't have a moral compass, because they're going to exist. But I feel like at this point, there's such an abundance of it that it's like there's almost more of them than there are of us, or so it feels like. And I think people are in this very robotic, like conditioned 9 to 5, like keep up with the Joneses. I'm going to be in a plethora of debt. Tend to the land. I will not tend to the land. I live
being distracted.
I live in HOA.
Yeah.
They mow. Like, and so they don't like, and I get this because I've had this conversation with commissioners. I'm like, someone who lives an urban lifestyle, trying to explain to them why we don't want rural agricultural land destroyed. Like, they think we live like Neanderthals. Like, they're like, what? Why do you do that? Which is fine. Like, and I think there is, and I've said this from the very beginning, especially of this situation, like, I think there is a place, there is a way for us to all cohabitate, but there has to be a level of respect within that. And with respect comes a heavy level of accountability, like I said. Like, I'm going to keep you accountable, you keep me accountable, let's meet in the middle somewhere. I don't want to tell somebody that they can't do something with their land. Like, I don't. Right. Like, if you want to paint your house neon green, I love that for you. Like, you do you, boo. But
if your house is at the right angle when the sun
hits it
and it's blinding,
yeah,
I'll have to say something.
Then I'm going to ask you to probably buy me a pair of shades that I can wear inside my house. Like, you know, or like, hey, put a fence up, or, you know, I mean, we've had these issues for forever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you got a bunch of trash in your yard.
yeah, like put a fence up or whatever, you know, like we all do that. I think in this situation, it's like these things are happening on such a broad level that it's like, it is a way of life situation. Like, it is very much me being able to go like, wow, my kids used to play there and it's not there anymore. And it's whatever it is, it's a development. 90% of the time. Like, it's a cookie cutter subdivision with some shoddy ass Soviet style houses. Like,
Gray and white, and they'll name it watercolor. We roasted watercolor
I
because it
know, I
was
love
gray and
that.
white. All the buildings, I'm like,
It's watercolor. There's nothing watercolor
Okay.
about it.
there's
Anyways.
no colors.
yeah, where's the color?
Isn't that crazy how they'll name something
The
off
names
of
blow
like
my
what they
mind.
wish it would have been or what once was there?
Right.
Like, I get people sending me neighborhood names all the time, and I'm
That's
like, oh my
crazy.
god, somebody called something Hunt Club Groves because it used to be an orange grove, but it was called Hunt Club Groves.
And people probably hunted there.
No, well, maybe, but they're not hunting there now.
Oh yeah, no.
They were
But-
hunting amongst the orange grove.
It was just like the silliest. Like just
Yeah,
name
there's-
it. Like we roasted one that was Called Greenfield Plantation.
That was good. Man.
Like I can't believe.
to go in off 64.
I mean, they're using the word
Plantation.
plantation.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
It's
Now
rough.
this neighborhood is 25 years old, so the world wasn't as sensitive back in 1999, 2001.
Right.
I think that's
But
another issue.
I don't think anybody would. Yeah, I think the world's way too sensitive. But I don't think anybody would use the word plantation now in a neighborhood. Not these days.
No, you can't. I mean, Aunt Jemima can't be on our
Yeah.
syrup
I miss
anymore.
her.
So I miss
She was such a nice,
Isn't that this
such a nice lady.
yeah?
And they
Aunt
took her
Jemima.
off the bottle. I'm
She
like,
was a
dude, why would you take?
And Uncle Ben too.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised, you know, that whole Cracker Barrel thing, changing their logo, and then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to piss anybody off. But I'm really surprised that Cracker Barrel had been using the word cracker. And I'm saying this because we had apparel and stuff that had the word cracker on it.
yeah.
And when you try advertising that, like in a meta ad, or even putting it on your shop to where it crosses over to Google will flag the word cracker.
You're like, you're Google though. You should be able to
The
like
amount of people on the back of
do
my
research
on
it.
my, because on my tallow I specify, I don't just put tallow. It says grass fed and finished Florida cracker suet or tallow or whatever. And the amount of people that are like, why do you have that? And I'm like, that's the type of cattle it came from.
Yeah.
That's bad.
They're not
I'm
from
like,
Florida.
well, no. And then I get to do a little education piece.
Well, yeah. You should just. Do you have like a copy and paste of like the history behind a Florida
little-
cracker, like what it is?
So Mayaca Golf Club spells it Miakka, okay? Right, for Old Mayaca. But Old Mayaca stops right outside of this property.
Okay.
So you on the other side, because he's right there on the other side of the river, you right there on that other side of the river, you're not part of this. Like, that's a slap in the face. Then he's got like a bull, Texas Longhorn bull as his mascot, which is not even a Florida cracker bull. And then he's putting cracker cattle at 2 of his holes on his golf course to pay tribute to the area.
Like the actual cattle? He's gonna have them roaming around?
No, they're going to be in pens.
That's so cool of him.
Yeah.
That's like, wow.
That's mighty white
Sold.
of you, bro.
I'm
mighty
in.
white of you to do
I'm
that.
in.
Like, thank you. Awesome, bud. You're doing a
Give me
good
the
job.
invite.
Like, I literally read that and I was like, I was born at night, not last night. Like,
You got to, yeah.
bro, we've watched. So if you want to like brew a cup of coffee and come on out here between like 5:30 and 8:30 a.m. is prime time, you can literally watch the charade. Like, there is never ending dump trucks full of fill, shell, sand, all kinds of stuff. Which is completely insane. And then he has now publicly claimed that he has not brought in any fill.
To me, it sounds like what he says he's doing is the complete opposite of what he's doing.
Right, but if he says it, then we have to accept that it's truth.
Because he says it. And what
Correct.
makes his word more important than yours?
Because it's his project. He knows what he's doing on his project. And I should be seeking to understand his perspective. Which I'm not really sure what that is, other than like you just blatantly lying. Like, saying you've brought in no fill is a blatant lie. I don't know if you've been on your own project. I mean, perhaps he's not been on the property to see what's happening. But we also have the video proof of his partner specifically saying, and when we say we need another truck of fill, we just...
So he has like a Snuffington attitude with it? Like he's got
Bring it on
the old
in.
country club Snuffington vibes?
Yeah, we spare no expense.
Spirit, like John Hammond, yeah, spare no expense. That's what it is. He's creating his own little Jurassic Park out here, essentially. So what is he doing? Where is he getting the water from for the golf course? Yeah, he's doing wells down to the aquifer. How's he irrigating the golf course? With what water?
Well water.
Bring it
He's
on
got giant ponds. He has a 42-acre pond. That's his largest pond. And then his restaurant and bar will be overlooking that pond, as well as a bunch of cottages. He's bought the Fort Wilderness cabins from Disney.
So we all know well water has a smell. So putting a restaurant over a massive retention pond is full of reclaimed water, well water, is not going to have a pleasant smell.
Well, you could spray some Febreze on it. I'm sure it's fine.
That's what I'm getting at. He's going to have to treat the water so it doesn't smell for the clients. So when he fertilizes and waters the grass for the thing, unless it's all pitched back to the pond, which I'm 95% positive would not be, it would end up in the river, and then eventually it'd end up in Port Charlotte. Because Mayaca River runs all the way down the Peace River, all the way, to Port Charlotte, and it would end up in the Gulf. It's just another trace amount of fertilizer that'll end up in our waterways, which is just going to add to the red tide. Now, does he understand that those two are connected, even though that they're so far apart? The environmental repercussions that you're not going to see for maybe a few years after everything's complete.
Right. I think, for us, that's when we started to get loud about the river, and started to say, like, historically, Manatee County hasn't needed any type of protection on the river because all the property possessed in Manatee County from the Myakka Head all the way down to the wild and scenic part of the river is all ranchers. It's ranchers, it's ag land, it's farmers. The problem is yes, that was very true back in the 1980s when they made Myakka River a wild and scenic river, which to date is the only wild and scenic river in the entire state of Florida. But the problem is that that's not true anymore. We don't just have ranchers and farmers along the Myakka River in Manatee County. Now we have massive development. So we have the 2 massive golf courses that have just been planted, but then north of that, all the way up to the Myakka Head, most of that has been sold at this point, which means that it's gonna also be developed. So I keep saying, like, y'all, we're like eating Oreos and brushing our teeth at the same time. Like, because what's feeding the wild and scenic portion of our river is going to be the most polluted part of the river. And there's no provision to stop that currently. And so, you know, we're a day late and a dollar short because SB 180 is here and alive and well, and that stops us from being able to say no. Like, we're going to protect the river. You know, we're going to have a stronger buffer along the river. What does that look like? Maybe our ask was 150 feet. That we don't have light and sound pollution along the river. That reigns true all the way into the wild and scenic portion. And just having all of that stuff in line so that the entire river has the same metric. Now, the ask has never been for us to extend the wild and scenic portion of the river because it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense then, and it doesn't make sense now. We don't want that recreational. It's not designed recreationally how the south portion of the river is. But the whole Myakka River is about 70 miles long, but only 34 miles of it are protected. So in Manatee County, it is not protected, and they're not doing really anything to change that.
That's great.
And that change should have happened before any development was approved along the river.
Right.
It should have been, okay, we have a heavy request for some development along the river. We notice ranchers and ags selling out. Let's go ahead and get those provisions in place.
Yeah. So, question, where is everything at right now?
Sure, so they're still developing. They're still putting in housing. Terra Nova Estates is a housing development within Terra Nova Equestrian Center.
Okay.
So it's adjacent to the property. And they're building residential homes there. Following what's supposed to be 5, 10, 15 acre parcels, which is what is allowed out here. And so the rezone was retracted. The ask was for them to have 1 acre parcels. He then stated after he retracted his rezone that he was just gonna put like 2 or 3 1 acres. So like it wasn't even that big of a deal. So, but I don't know why you would try to rezone the entire property if you were just gonna put 2 or 3, but I mean, whatever. So the rezone, so that's not happening. The 1 acres is not happening, but they are still building a development there.
Gotcha. But what about the golf course? Or
The golf course is almost complete.
yeah.
The golf course is almost complete. They have holes butted right up to the river. We were recently told that they are not a hazard to Myakka River, so they do not need to follow any buffers. They can build right up onto the river. So he's got multiple holes that are directly on the riverbank.
Wow. So alligators in all wildlife around that area, they're going to have a new diet of golf balls and God knows what plants they put in there.
Correct.
And the fake sand. That's fun.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is, if you don't like what's happening in your county and you speak out against it, you're going to get sued. That's what they're trying. That's,
I think
that's what he's trying to push.
I think
it's like,
that's
hey,
like,
this is what's going to happen to you if you speak out.
He's trying to set a new standard.
Yes.
Yep. That's what it is.
That precedent is a very, very scary and slippery slope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because because even my kids have said that. Like, you've always taught us to speak out against things that, aren't right.
Yep.
Any injustice, anything, right? Like you stand up and you speak up. You use your voice. You were given it for a reason. Use it. Not to be like obnoxious. Like, I mean, I guess you could do that too.
If you see something that's wrong, you speak up.
Yeah, you speak up. And I think, I think this is a national thing. I mean, it's probably a global thing, but I think that very much is the message that we're sending, not only to our next generation, but to all of us, all of us going, wow, I'm going to think twice maybe before I speak up. And that is scary for me. That's really scary for me. Because there's a lot of good people that have a lot to say that don't want to talk because they don't want to be in a hot seat. Like I didn't wake up one day and go like, can't wait to catch a lawsuit from a millionaire. Like that was never do I know that is a consequence, a potential consequence? Sure. Like, I mean, of course it is. That's part of advocating for anything, like is opposition. Opposition opens up dialogue. I think, again, that's just debating, that's us coming to some sort of common ground and practicing basic communication. And maybe in his defense, he could say, well, you didn't practice basic communication. You immediately went for blood by blasting my business all over social media. But how else was I supposed to get the message out to Mayaca City, right? Like, it's not like I'm going to go door to door. We don't live in a subdivision where I can knock that out real quick. Like, I don't know half my neighbors. Right. Like, we all have gates. Yeah. Intentionally. Don't come on my property. Right. Like, so that's scary for me. That's really scary. It's scary to think that there's going to be people that are going to be scared to advocate because this is what happens. Or, you just get shot in the neck. Too soon?
No, I was thinking that. I was thinking that the whole time.
It's kind of the same thing, right? Like, it is. It's almost like it's a way to police and defund a voice of a generation and generations preceding that. Through what happened with Charlie Kirk is very similar. It's like, if you're not going to shut up, I'm going to make you shut up, and that's essentially what they're doing to you. If you're not going to shut up, I'm going to make you shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
Just not going to shoot you. I'm just going to mentally and monetarily and spiritually, physically break you until you give in.
And shut up.
And that's...
when we push the envelope, when we keep pushing and pushing and pushing and needling for more, like, okay, well, this got approved and this slid through. And do I think a private golf course is ag? No. Is your property zoned ag? It is. Am I going to throw a fit about it? I'm too late. Like, I can't do that. And I can acknowledge that. Can I have a problem with it? Yeah, I do have a problem with the project. I have a problem with the fact that you're zoned to agriculture, or agrotourism is what he's actually zoned. But agrotourism means that you're open to the public, but you're not. because you're private and it's exclusive. And I have to have $150,000 in an interview with you just to get into your exclusive club. And you don't even have tea times because it's that exclusive. Yeah. Everybody knows golf and do whatever they want. It's going to be great. Like, do I like any of that? No, I don't. But guess what? I didn't say a damn word. Right. But now, for me, it's like you give them an inch. It's like kids, right? You give them an inch, they take the mile. They're going to keep testing you to see, like, how much more can I get away with? How much more can I get away with? And I think that's the situation that we're in, is that it's like that pushing of how much more can I get away with before everybody stands up and goes, no. And now that he's done that, now he's being heavily babysat, which he also doesn't like. Right. So to circle back to what you just said, yes, it is misdirected. It's misdirected in the sense that you opened up a can of worms by asking for a rezone. The citizens spoke out, and what happened was the current board, you caught their attention. And then they said, hold up, what's going on? What's going on over here? Right? Like, let's go look into this. Let's go look into that. Let's go make sure this is up to snuff. And in that, I think there has been an opening of understanding that there has been very minimal oversight on this project. And not just from Manatee County, because I don't want to just completely throw them under the bus, because it's also Swift Mud and all the other people that we as citizens believe will do what's in the best interest of the other citizens. Right. And that is not happening.
Well, we need another golf course in Florida, like we need another hole in our head, right? It's just
Bro, where you come up with this? That was great.
Why they actually think that that's a good idea. There's so many other things they could have done. You know, it's the same thing they did tried doing at the racetrack, you know. Tried bullying Garrett to, they just went right around it. And then now they're all going to complain about the noise. Well, we're going to make this like a racetrack community. Why? So that you're selling them that the noise on the other side of the 6-foot wall is acceptable?
Yeah, dude, you can hear the racetrack
all the way to
probably 10 miles away, not 100 feet.
Yeah, and this 6-foot concrete wall is not going to break the sound. And it's just like...
And the developer knows that, and the developer is hoping that people are going to complain, do noise ordinances, and then eventually get in the right people that he wants as commissioners to be like, hey, get this out of here.
But now we're going back to the other conversation, which is like, we were here first.
I know. Yeah.
We were here first.
Yes. Yes.
Like, this was a staple. Like, the racetrack is a staple of...
Or if they could make it a historical landmark.
This area,
that would be awesome.
Like, I don't know if you know this, but the Mayaca River was here first.
What?
Like you weren't. And you don't get to come in. He, and I quote, said he's the best thing that's ever happened to the river.
I think he sounds a little narcissistic, if you really sit back and think about it.
What the Florida?
Now I'm wondering if this does reach the court, if the judge is going to be like, what the f*** are we doing here? Really? Like, is this what we're bickering over? You got your butt hurt and now, like, how does that even make it to that level? Like, in this society, why does it get to that level? Why doesn't the judge just throw it out before it even gets there?
Ooh, I hope so. I mean, maybe.
You would think, like, get over it. You got your tail between your legs, buck up, buckaroo, and get the f*** on. Stop.
I mean, I think people have been sued for less. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I've had multiple lawyers look at it that have all said this is a very frivolous lawsuit. Right. And any judge that has a half of a brain is going to look and basically say what you just said.
You're
like,
too sensitive. Stop.
Like, you're crying because she said, like, come on, like, stop. Really. Like, you can't get upset about that. Like, move on. It's not. And like, I have said, like, look at all of the big developers. Like, and yes, he's not a developer by trade. Okay, fine. But you're developing. You're a developer now. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, and look at any big developer. What does everybody do? Everybody talks crap about them and slanders them all over the internet.
Yeah.
The news slanders them. Yeah. Like, I mean, do you think they're dishing out lawsuits for everybody that's making a comment about Pat Neal?
Yeah.
Right.
You want to know how Pat Neal sleeps at night? real well.
Yeah.
Like in his gazillion-dollar bed, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He does not care
Right. Yeah.
that I have an opinion about him.
Right.
Believe me, he does not care.
Right.
He doesn't even know that I exist, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just petty.
Yeah, it is
What he's
very,
doing,
it is very
what this
petty.
guy is doing to you is very petty.
So yeah, like for me, it's like, okay, you made a power play. We're playing chess now. Like you made a power play. The power play is I have more money than you. I'm going to out-money you by throwing a lawsuit in your face. And you're not going to be able to retain counsel. And I'm going to win by default. Yay!
Right. Yeah.
Except for that didn't happen.
Right. Right.
So,
Crazy.
what can people do to help you out? What is the way that when people hear this, they want to help your side?
Yeah.
No one's going to help that side. So, what can people do to help you out?
Yeah.
I mean, because we're all on this side of the
Yeah.
fence here.
Yeah.
All the developers are on that side. This one just happened to decide, hey, I'm going to start some shit, and then But there is a division line in Florida with citizens and developers. It doesn't matter what county you're in.
Sure.
So what can people do to help you out, to help you kind of go against this just David and Goliath situation?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we did start a Give, Send, Go to cover like our initial retainer, so that we could obtain proper legal counsel that was willing to not only take the case, but was very confident in being able to progress and make some sort of something happen. And so I think the reality is, and I'm not going to act ignorant and be like, it's just going to stop there and we're all going to be fine. Because I don't think that that's how it's going to go. I think that he's going to continue to try to prove that he has more skin in this game and more money. And so I think the answer is really not necessarily. We set up a Give, Send, Go for a reason. Like, it's not just monetary donation. It's you can share. If you don't necessarily have a way to give monetary donation, you can put a prayer request in, which means a lot to our family. This is not the amount of time that we have taken away from our businesses and our lives and our children to be able to do this is absolutely absurd. And yes, it would be very easy for me to just shut up and to just say, you know what, this isn't worth it. But I can also look at the community and know, based on the support that we've got, I mean, we raised $5,000 in 24 hours. And that for me was pretty emotional. Like we were moved. Like, okay, the community's clearly like making their voice heard by supporting our family. And that's really what we keep hearing, people just coming up and just saying like, hey, we stand with you, we support you, whatever that looks like. And telling us, we're praying for your family. I'm sure it's not easy, and it's not easy. There's a lot of tension in our house. There's some tears some days, lots of legal appointments and things that maybe my kids don't necessarily understand. But I think at the end of the day, that's the best way that people can help us, is to not just share our story, but to, if they can monetarily donate. It's like, I know some people are like, oh, I only have $10. I'm like, well, you know what? $10 adds up real quick when we have lots of people doing it. And it affords us the ability to not have to halt any of this legal battle, whatever that's going to look like going forward. And, we've had a lot of conversations because, we don't know what's going to come out of it. But I just feel like, when good people have money, they do good things with it. And for us, that's like, I would love to see some pretty cool blessings kind of come out of this, not just for our family, but, maybe for some organizations or for other people that are fighting other conservation issues in their area. I don't want, I always want to kind of make lemonade out of lemons in a lot of situations and go like, wow, that really sucked. But if we can, pass the buck, if you will, and help somebody else go through this, that would mean a lot to us, I think. And to know that this all wasn't just some stressful blip in our life.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really long answer.
No, that's
good.
great.
That's good.
We'll have a link to that in the description wherever we post this for people.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for sitting down and telling us your story and what's
Thank you.
going on. Because we have a lot of people that follow us that, it's like this is happening everywhere. And so like, since this was happening and it's like, we already kind of knew you and had a relationship, we're like, holy cow, like, yeah, we need to share this of what's going on.
Thank you.
Because this is like mass scale right now all over Florida. So yeah, to be able to highlight what's going on with you guys and to, if it can help you in any way.
Thank you.
And then also just getting the truth out. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all about like,
And how about this? To play fair to both sides. If he wants to come and do a podcast with us, we'll listen to his side of the story too.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Come on.
Because yeah, exactly.
I want to hear your side, just because I got some questions.
Yeah.
I want to know.
No strings attached.
No.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of FloBros Show. Do you have any questions? Do you want to know how to get involved locally in your community? JD, how can they get involved?
Go to theflobroshow.com. You click on the resources page. We have a long list of organizations, all the county commissioners, emails and websites, senators, everybody. You go to theflobroshow.com, you'll be able to find a way to get involved in your county, in your town, in your community. FloBroshow.com is your one-stop shop to get involved.
Yep.
Remember that. No excuses now.
No more excuses.
No.
Thanks for watching. Get involved. Florida's getting crazy. We can help change it. Starts at a local level. We'll see you next time.
And stop developing Florida. Please. Thank you.